What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. Today I have a very important video for you guys. Huge news. The patch 1.1.17 has finally released for Madden 21, and with that patch they have finally included some massive updates, or I guess I could call them massive updates, to Madden 21's franchise mode. They've added in the ability to edit dev traits, or rather superstar traits, I should say. They're superstar and X Factor abilities. They've added in a playoff bracket. They've added in career team history for players, and in this video I'm going to show you guys exactly how to access all of these things, including the new settings that they've added to the game, very quickly here in franchise mode. Now, the first thing that I want to start off this video by saying is a very important note, probably the most important note, is that this is a retroactive update to franchise mode. So you will not have to start a new franchise mode in order to be able to access these updates to franchise mode. I've checked this, and you can go into your active franchises and access every single one of these new features. Not only that, but I've also checked, you do not have to be a commissioner of the league to access the features where you can edit the superstar and X Factor abilities of your players. So I've checked that on my alternate account, which is in this league and does not have commissioner powers. But the first thing that I want to show you guys is that for any player that has superstar or X Factor abilities, you can merely click on them, press L1 once to go over to their abilities, and select the ability, and then change it to whichever ability you want it to be. So let's say I want Minkah Fitzpatrick to be a zone hawk. I can very quickly and easily select the new ability that I want for the player, and then it's saved to that player. And like I said, it is that way no matter whether you have commissioner powers or not. That is a very important note to consider in regards to that. Now, the next thing that I want to cover is the new playoff bracket that they added into the game, and I want to show you guys exactly where to access the new playoff bracket, because this one is very simple and straightforward to get to. So I was thinking maybe it would be under standings. It is not. It is going to be under schedule, and there's a completely new tab that pops up next to your team schedule, your league schedule. The playoff picture is a completely new tab that they've added here into the game. Very nice, very easy to find, and not only that, but you can scroll through the playoff bracket and select every single game and show the stats and scores from those games. So a really nice addition here with the playoff bracket. For example, I can click into the Super Bowl and very easily, very quickly, I can tell all the stats from that game. I can go to the player stats and scroll through those, and I think that that is probably one of the best additions that they've added to the game. Very important in my opinion. The next one that I want to cover is the player career team stats and stuff that they've updated for a player. So basically what they've done, if you go to your roster and you select a player, so let's say I select Minkah Fitzpatrick because he's been on multiple teams, and I go to his stats and contracts, it is now going to show which team he was on for each year of his contract, or for each year that he's played in the league. And this is a really nice, just quality of life improvement, something that makes things more immersive, something that makes it a little bit more realistic. And so you guys can see here, in 2018, Minkah Fitzpatrick was drafted to Miami, and then you can see in 2019 he went over to Pittsburgh and has played the following years in Pittsburgh. So you can finally see what team a player played on for every single year of their career under their stats sheet. Very nice improvement there as well. And then a couple of other improvements that they added. If we go over to the settings, there are a couple of new settings for you guys to be aware of. So if you go to league settings, you're going to be able to find where the new settings are, which are all the way down here under, are they not popping up? Weekly experience, scout, right here. This is the new section that they added here for dev trait management. So you can do a couple new things here. Under breakout scenarios, you can turn these on or off. So if you're in a league where you don't like breakout challenges, if you don't like whether it's the randomness of it or the predictability of it, whichever aspect you don't like of breakout scenarios, you can finally turn those off. And the other thing that kind of factors into this is these new sliders that they've added to affect dev trait management. So we'll get to those in a second, but you can also turn development trait regression off. So if you don't want players to regress in terms of their dev traits, then you can turn this off. But what they've done here in this update is they've improved the ability for players to regress as they get older or as they underperform. Their dev traits will regress with their ratings, and this has been an issue in years past where players don't properly regress. You'll see a 75 overall that still has X Factor even though they've done nothing for years upon years in your league. And so now you have the ability for your dev traits to regress at a proper pace, or hopefully at a proper pace, and you can use these sliders to adjust what's going on there in terms of the amount of dev traits that you have. So essentially what these sliders mean are player counts of how many players you want with each specific type of development factor in Madden 21. So this is going to affect the regression. So let's say you have this set to 50. You only want to have 50 total X Factor players in the game. What's going to happen is if a new player were to get X Factor at the end of the year, older players' dev traits are going to be considered, or players that underperformed. Everybody pretty much, their dev trait is going to be reviewed, and the bottom performers are going to be cut off. Their dev trait is going to drop to the next level. And essentially what that means is it's going to keep the top 50 X Factors as X Factor players, and then the bottom ones are going to get sent down to lower tiers. And likewise with superstar traits and star traits. They're going to continue to go down the list, and basically the top 50, or whatever number you have this set as, X Factor players will keep that trait. The top superstars will have those superstar traits, and then the top 400 stars will have those traits. Like I said, you can switch this up and down. You can make this much higher, much lower than what it actually is, but a very, very nice improvement that they've added here, that you can actually kind of control what's going on with dev trait management. Now, it's going to take a while for us to get a good feel for what the ideal settings are here in terms of what's going on with those new settings, but other than that, they haven't really updated any other new settings aside from that. There's a couple other notes to kind of talk about within this, that we've already talked about the dev trait regressions that they've added. Essentially what's going to happen is eligible players are going to be regressed in priority order until their target is met. So I don't really know how to define priority order as they define it in the patch notes, but like I said, I think the best idea we can have for what priority order is like the best players are going to, and the ones that perform the best are obviously going to keep the dev trait, and the players that perform the worst or the lowest overall players are probably going to be at risk of losing their dev trait, their X Factor or superstar or whatever it might be. So that's kind of one of the bright spots there. We already talked about the X Factor customization. We talked about the playoff bracket, the career stats. Now the last one to talk about here that they've added in is they've added in retirement improvements. So they say here in terms of the re-sign players week, which is actually where we're at in the franchise right now, we're in the re-sign period, there will now be a things to do item that takes you directly to the transactions screen, which is sorted by retired players to provide a quicker look into who is riding off into the sunset. So essentially what they're saying is that they've improved what's going on with retirements. The I guess more correct players will retire year to year. But from now on, probably because I'm already done with everything I've done this week, if you advance to this off-season re-sign period, it will present you with a retired players button, which is going to take you straight to the transactions tab here, and the transactions tab is going to take you straight to the retirements tab, which is here. So instead of going through those couple extra steps, there will now be a button that pops up for you to go straight to this tab and see who has retired. So that's the other update. And the one thing that I want to say that kind of builds upon my previous videos is they haven't mentioned anything in these patch notes about fixing the EA servers issue. Like I said, they have not address the fact that people are still having this issue where it's saying you cannot connect to the EA servers and you have to reinstall the game and things like that. Maybe they're coming out with something here coming up, but they said they were working on a patch for it. I thought that would have been included in this, but I guess it's going to be something separate. But aside from that, I think that these are some great additions to the game, some things that we've been looking for a long time, and I'm really happy that they're at least putting in the effort to address franchise mode and put in some of these really key additions, like the playoff bracket that I showed you guys. That is one of my favorite additions here, as well as the ability to change your superstar abilities and whatnot. But like, this is a fantastic addition. I thought it was just going to be a bracket, and they added in the ability to actually scroll through and click into every game and look at the stats from those games real quick and easy, and that's just absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about these additions to the game. Hopefully this video helped you guys out and gave you information so you don't have to search around for what exactly is going on here. You guys will have immediate access to it. You can go to the exact correct place and utilize all these new features on your own. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video if you guys appreciate this type of video and it helps you out at all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have a good day.